Hello everyone, this is April with CraftKnifeChronicles, and this is an introduction to the construction series to make the Treetop Fairy Village. Before you get started with this project, you will want to go to Dropbox and download the files that are there for the project. There is a materials and cutting guide, there are templates, and there's also a third materials and cutting guide. It's specifically for the mini album. So I only have these two in front of me because this is what you need for the Fairy Village itself. We'll start by just taking a look at the materials and cutting guide. Here you will find all the materials and supplies that I used for the project, as well as a list of tools that are in addition to common tools that you would use on paper crafting projects. And we'll go over those in more detail in a minute. On the next pages you'll see a list of all the things that need to be cut. It starts out with medium weight chipboard. That's chipboard that's approximately 1/16 of an inch thick. And we have a couple of pages of parts listed for that. During the videos you may see me refer to this guide, and sometimes things change as I work through the project, but the final version that you can download from Dropbox has any changes that I made along the way. So we have a couple of pages, as I said, for medium weight chipboard. Then there's a page for lightweight chipboard. That chipboard is about half the thickness of medium weight, so about 1/32 of an inch thick. And then the last page just has some little tables, things that I talk about that are handy to have a reference to look at as we work through the project. So now let's take a look at some of the materials and supplies and special tools for the project. Now I used Graphic 45 Nature Sketchbook paper. You of course can choose to make this project out of any paper that you'd like to. I noted that it took me approximately 20 sheets of 12 by 12 paper to make the project, and I used both the collection and I used some paper from the 12 by 12 patterns and solids, as well as some pieces from the chipboard, decorative chipboard. This is the decorative chipboard, sorry for the glare. The underlying structure for the trees is PVC pipe, and you can see I have two sizes here. This larger one is 1-inch pipe and this smaller one is 1/2 inch. And basically that dimension refers more towards the inside of the pipe than the outside of it. And it just matters that you pay attention to that, and that when you buy your elbows that you get the right sizes. And speaking of the elbows, we need some for the 1-inch pipe we need 45-degree elbows. We need 2 of those. And then we need a kind of an odd shaped one here. It's 90 degrees, plus it has a small piece coming out at the side that's threaded. And we'll use this part to join our 1/2 inch pipe to it by using, this is a 1/2 inch male adapter. It has threads on the outside and it will thread right, screw in right there and make that join like that. And then on the 1/2 inch side we need some 45-degree elbows as well. We need 2 of those. And we'll just use some heavy-duty glue like E6000 to join the pieces together. There's no need to get special bonding adhesive for PVC for this project. Now this is a scrap of black foam core. The foam core that I have is about 3/16 of an inch thick. You could use 3/16 or 1/4 inch, it doesn't matter. We're just going to use that to raise up the central kind of courtyard just to give it a little more interest. I think that's all I want to say about materials and supplies. For tools, I use these rulers. They have very nice 1/8 inch and 1/16 inch markings. You'll see me sometimes cutting with them, but you need to be very careful if you cut with them because they don't have a metal edge, so it's easy to cut into the plastic. But definitely use something like this for measuring. Now for cutting the PVC pipe, I don't have any power tools, so I just have a miter box, and I have this back saw that I've had for forever. And you want to use something like this so that you get nice perpendicular cuts when you're cutting your PVC pipe. Another tool that's helpful when working with the pipe is some of these locking jaw pliers. I sometimes call them vice grips, but they're handy for twisting out the pieces if you want to make some changes or if you're just doing a dry fit. You need some kind of compass that can be extended to make circles with radiuses up to 8 1/4 inches. Now this kind of compass has an extension arm that can be put on it so that you can make big circles, and there's other kinds of compasses as well that will do that, but you need to be able to make precise circles, and you need to make them up to a radius of 8 1/4. These are heavy duty punches. They can punch through even 2 layers of medium weight chipboard. The blue one is a 1/16 inch and the green one makes a 1/4 inch hole. I don't see the 1/4 inch hole listed here. I do see the 1/16 inch. I know I used the 1/4 inch on the mini, but maybe I didn't use the 1/4 inch on the big project, looks like. There's a lot of gluing in this project, and having a fine tipped glue, hopefully you can see that nozzle on there. There's many different brands of this kind of thing, but just something so you can put a fine line of glue out. This is a small plastic level. In order to get your pieces and parts level, you'll want to have something like this. And then this is a little X-Acto saw with a miter box, and it's very handy for cutting all the little dowels that we will use in the project. This is a pin vise. It's like a mini drill, and I don't even know if you can see how small that bit is that I have in there. Towards the end of the video, I decided to add a little birdhouse onto the tree, and in order to do that, I used my pin vise and a very tiny bit in it. I used 2 dies in the project. This one is on the edge. It's an on the edge die called On the Fence by Tim Holtz. This one will cut through chipboard. It's a steel rule die. But if you don't have this die, you can just use any fence die that you have, as long as it makes a fence that's an inch or so in the top, from the bottom of the pickets to the top of the pickets, and you need to have some border underneath here that ranges between 1/2 inch and I think 3/4 of an inch. And you don't have to have the steel rule die. You can do the fences out of black cardstock. And the other die I used was this one from Tim Holtz. It's new in 2017. I don't know if it has a name. Oh, Small Tattered Florals. And its number is 661806. I made a lot of little flowers to go in the project, and this die was very handy. But you could use punches or anything that you want to make tiny flowers. I think that's all I wanted to say about the materials and cutting guide. And during the project, you'll see me refer to all of these templates that are in the template guides. We use them for the roofs on the houses, There's some measurements in here for a platform. I've included windows for the houses, and then these shapes are cut out of the foam core. I think that's all I wanted to say in the way of an introduction to the videos. Take your time. Watch the videos through at least once before you start working on that section so you'll have an idea of where you're going. And above all, enjoy the process and have fun. The construction series now starts with video 1.